Just because people are homeless or on drugs doesn't make them a lesser person. I believe you to be evil by your videos with malice in your heart.
That was the emotional testimony from the older brother of a man who Spokane police say was shot near 2nd and Division on Friday. Spokane County court documents show that the shooting suspect, 36-year-old Hoyt Webb, also confessed to live streaming that shooting.
This photo is from the live stream showing Webb armed with a gun strapped to his chest. Webb claims in a police interview when he arrived to the area, he got out of his car and said he saw a man with a machete. Instead of leaving the area, Webb went back to his car and grabbed his gun.
He's harmless, man.
Josh is a friend of the victim shot on Friday. Police say 2 bullets discharged from Hoyt Webb's gun, one hitting Josh's friend armed with an almost empty cup of iced coffee.
That's disgusting.
Josh was nearby when the shooting happened. He captured Webb being arrested and his friend lying on the ground fighting for their life.
I hope he has some epiphanies in jail. I hope he has some time to think about what he did and the fact that, like, he really did hurt somebody who was harmless and innocent.
According to court documents, Webb confessed to yelling at people and calling them names, which led to an argument between Webb and several individuals.
Bite me.
Shortly after that, conflict erupted around the block.
Drop the rock!
As long as there is money to be made, there will always be people willing to go too far on a live stream. We've seen things over the years, from dead bodies being featured in forests to harassment to people being pepper sprayed. But on June 7th of this year, we saw something that I had not seen before. We saw a homeless man shot, all for the sake of views. So we are going to start this series with the interrogation, and we are going to hear from Hoyt Webb why he shot Thomas Hatch.
Hoyt was in custody and handcuffed in an interview room. At approximately 2200 hours, Detective Walker began by providing Hoyt with his Miranda rights by reading them from her department-provided card. When asked if he understood his rights, he stated, "Yes, I do." When asked if he would like to answer questions, he stated, "Yeah, I don't have nothing to hide." He then signed the Miranda card. We began with Hoyt providing basic information including name and date of birth. Hoyt also provided some work and travel history. He spent 8 years in the Army as an infantryman, but was now 100% medically retired. He said he was currently trying to grow his news channel, later determined to be Kootenai County Press on YouTube. He said he was credentialed through the Constitution First Amendment Press Association. Walker asked Hoyt what brought him to Spokane that day. He said he had been down in Rockford and thought he would give his viewers a glimpse of Spokane. He said one of his viewers had mentioned the area to him. Hoyt said he was planning to walk the block surrounding 7-Eleven when he ran into multiple people doing drugs. He told them he was a member of the press when one guy threatened to take his gun and beat him up. The crowd then began throwing rocks and possibly a wrench at him. Then one guy lunged at him. Walker asked a few clarifying questions. Hoyt said he parked his 2013 GMC Terrain behind the 7-Eleven. He was unsure of street names, but was able to describe the location. Hoyt went on to describe that as soon as he began to walk around the block, he observed 2 males get into an altercation. One of the males had a machete. He then proceeded around the 7-Eleven and began walking northbound on Division Street until he came to a small group of homeless people. Interestingly, there was quite a bit of information Hoyt left out of his travels around 7-Eleven prior to the shooting. Detective Walker and I knew this because we had just watched Hoyt's recording on YouTube. Please see Walker's report detailing the missing informations and interactions. Hoyt went on to say, "But then that's when the people started threatening me, and then when I went to get back, go down, that's when they started throwing rocks and chasing me, said they're going to kill me and take my gun and whatnot." He added it was 12 to 13 people, and one of the guys on the other side of Division had a gun. He described the armed man as black, wearing a hood, and possibly some type of mask. The gun was in a chest sling of some type. He said the man did not cross the street, but did appear to be influencing the crowd. The armed man left prior to police arrival. He thought this was approximately the point when the group began throwing fist-sized rocks at him. One of the rocks hit him in the face. I observed that Hoyt did have a swollen lower lip with a smear of blood on it. Hoyt said there was a black male wearing a white shirt who was throwing rocks at him as well. He said police did contact the male. Hoyt described a second rock thrower as Middle Eastern, wearing a green backpack. Regarding the Middle Eastern male, Hoyt said, "That dude was like, he was throwing like the biggest rocks, and they're like right there, saying they are going to kill me and whatnot." Again, Hoyt thought this male was contacted by police. Hoyt again alleges that this group was threatening to kill him and take his gun. Hoyt: These people, like I'm walking by it before they even said anything to me. I hear, and my back's turned at this point, hey, let's take his gun and beat him up. And then other guys like, yeah, let's kill him. Like that was the first thing. They didn't say nothing. That's the first thing that I heard. Okay. And then that's when I started walking back to my vehicle. 'Cause I was like, well, crap, this is not good. So I was trying to get back to my vehicle and then, take off and whatnot. And then when everything went down the crowd, they started like blocking off that way. So I actually couldn't get to my vehicle. And that's when I got out into like the main road was like, at that point, it must have been at least 18, 19 people hurling rocks saying they're going to kill me, whatnot. It was approximately at this point that Hoyt fired his handgun into the victim, Thomas Hatch. Walker attempted to clarify the exact steps that lead up to and including the shots fired. Ironically, at this point, Hoyt said his memory was failing him. He would just say, "I thought they were going to kill me." I found this odd. Hoyt was extremely clear about all the events leading up to the shooting, then goes blank for the shots fired, but was again clear and articulate about what happened right after the shooting. Hoyt explained to us in detail all the mistakes of the crowd. He failed to mention any of his complicity in this debacle. Hoyt again says the crowd was threatening his life. He was afraid they were going to take his gun and use it against him. Walker asks Hoyt specifically who was coming at him, attempting to disarm him. Hoyt is unable to describe anyone. Hoyt eventually says he fired 2 rounds. The first was a warning shot based on his Army training. The second was because he was afraid the people were going to disarm him. Again, Hoyt appears evasive when Walker attempts to clarify the target for the second round fired. Hoyt states, I tried to aim like low and to the side where I wouldn't, it might sound weird, but I didn't want to hurt the person. I just want them to stop and not take my gun and kill me or whatnot. I just remember, don't really remember much, but I wasn't trying to shoot him in the head or nothing, or kill shot or nothing. Walker asks Hoyt where, based on his training, was he aiming. Again, Hoyt attempts to avoid the question and does not provide an answer. But Hoyt was very clear that when the police arrived, there was a pair of pliers on the ground that had been thrown at him. Hoyt explains he was live streaming using his phone to file. The gun he was carrying was a 9mm high point. He had only 2 bullets in the gun and no spare magazine. He said he had been out target practicing earlier and had forgot to reload it. He said he purchased it from the Pawn One in Idaho. Walker goes back and attempts to revisit Hoyt's training in an attempt to understand how this situation occurred. Again, Hoyt is evasive and attempts to avoid any questions regarding firearms training in the military or otherwise. At approximately 2 minutes and 41 seconds into the video, I ask Hoyt specifically about the man he shot and what was occurring in that moment. Hoyt states, well, I seen the guy lunging for me, and after what they had said and everything, I felt like they were trying to take my gun from me, like they were, because I didn't have it pointed at nobody or nothing. I just had it unholstered, pointed at the ground. And then as I was walking away, because at that point they were already throwing rocks and threatening me and everything, and then I just remember the guy, it all just happened all at once. Hoyt says he thinks the person he shot was a white male wearing brown clothing and a coat. He says he shot the male Hatch because he was the closest person to him and lunging at him. Hoyt says part of his thinking was the implementation of the 21-foot rule. The rule, roughly explained, states that a person charging toward you with a knife or other sharp-edged instrument can travel 21 feet in the time it would take you to recognize there is a threat, draw your firearm, and fire 2 shots. Hoyt described Hatch as being approximately 3 to 4 feet away. I asked Hoyt if Hatch had anything in his hands. Hoyt said he could not remember. He stated he was just trying to get back to his truck. I asked Hoyt what had caused the cut and swelling to his lower lip. He said it was from something thrown at him, but he was unsure of the item. Again, I attempt to clarify where Hoyt was aiming when he shot Hatch. Hoyt says he was aiming for the lower right of Hatch's abdomen. He says he just wanted Hatch to stop. This seemed an odd statement. After years of personally attending firearms training from multiple instructors in schools, I have never been taught to aim for this location. Once more, I felt Hoyt was being deceptive, but was unclear as to his motivation. I went on to explain to Hoyt that we needed the truth. I told him that he did not black out when the shots were fired. 321 Phillips. Okay, so where were you aiming when you shot the guy? Hoyt. I guess center mass. Phillips. That's reasonable. That's what we do. That's an honest answer. Thank you. Hoyt. Yeah, but I mean, I wasn't trying to kill him or nothing. 325. Walker asks Hoyt why he decided to open carry that day. Hoyt. Oh, 'cause the guy with the machete down there that I seen who hopped out the guy and some like a little Native American guy, like a little red hat, and got the red hat. Like, I don't bang. He threw his hat away, but this guy's like standing out there with a machete. And that was when I was like just starting around the 7-Eleven. So that's why I went back to my vehicle, 'cause I didn't have a gun on me at the time. And that's why, because I'm like, well, this guy's hopping out of his vehicle, a machete, trying to chase people. It's obviously not safe, you know, but I didn't think that anything like this would happen. I thought that it was just like between the gangs or the drugs or something. I thought I'd be safe as being a member of the press, but I wasn't going down there looking for trouble. Hoyt says he chose to open carry because it could be a deterrent to those wishing to do him harm. Walker asks Hoyt if he thought about calling the police as the situation turned dangerous. He said he was unable to call because he was using his phone for the live stream and didn't have another. Hoyt explained he did have pepper spray on him during the altercation, and he did use it on one person, but not the adversarial crowd. He was unable to recall which individual he pepper sprayed. I told Hoyt one of my concerns with his using the 21-foot rule as a defense. Was it assumed a knife or edged weapon? Hoyt responded by saying he did not know what was in the victim's hands or pockets. I agreed and said that was the problem. He didn't know and yet still shot. He reiterated he was afraid they were going to take his gun. Earlier, Walker had asked Hoyt if he had verbally instigated any of this conflict. He said he had not, Hoyt states. But, no, I wasn't like using fighting words. I wasn't provoking nobody. Walker points out the following. 1:45 into his live stream, he yells, "Fuck you, bitch boy," at a man who did not want to be filmed. 4 o'clock, Hoyt states, "It's going to be a bad idea if they pull anything out on me, 'cause I'm pro-Second Amendment bitches. I don't have a felony, so I can carry a gun, and I have a concealed firearm permit." 8:36, "Bite me, bitch," to man leaving the 7-Eleven who flips him off. 11 o'clock, films a man crossing the street who is displeased. They exchange words, and as the man is retreating, Hoyt yells, "Yeah, walk away, bitch. Shut up, shut up." Walker reiterates there were multiple threats made to Hoyt, and yet he refused to leave the area or return to his vehicle. Hoyt says he didn't leave because I had to figure out which way I was going. He added that none of his verbiage violated Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire. I asked Mo, yes, but was it smart? Hoyt states, I wouldn't do it again if, and I agree with that here in that context. It sounds really immature and stupid, but I wasn't trying to provoke anybody into it. I go on to explain that according to Spokane Municipal Code, some would say he was violating the disorderly conduct statute. Hoyt replies he was just going off of Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire. I replied, well, let's take the legal jargon out of it and let's just use common sense. Do we think that going down to an area where a bunch of people are on drugs and screaming at them, and then as they're walking away say, yeah, that's right, bitch. Does that make sense? It just doesn't look good. Hoyt replies, yeah, it's not a good look. That sounds pretty stupid. What she just read, referring to the quotes Walker read to him. I then ask Hoyt if any of his downtown antics were related to his desire to grow his YouTube channel. He denies any connection. Hoyt states he was just exercising his right to free speech. I agree with him, but add, it doesn't make sense to stand on the corner of 3rd Division and yell at a bunch of drug abusers, and then when they start backing away say, that's right, bitch. Hoyt replies, well, no, yelling at drug users, no, that's stupid. Hoyt goes on to say, I guess I don't know. I shouldn't been yelling at people or saying rude stuff. Phillips, looking back, is there anything you regret? Hoyt, yeah, I was saying those things, insults slung at passersby. Phillips, could we agree? You could have done it a little more low-key? Hoyt, yeah, I could. I should have just not done any filming at all. Phillips, just walked around quietly and filmed without open carry. Hoyt, yeah, that's a good idea too. Phillips, so that's what we're trying to put together. We have this nice, polite person who's from the military, did well in the military. We have a service person who is polite and respectful, who's honest, but who's doing these things. And we're just trying to figure out why. Hoyt, a lapse in judgment. 346 Phillips. So going back, you cranked one round off into the ground to try and, Hoyt, deter the people and make them go away. Phillips, but you didn't actually see a weapon on him. Hoyt, oh no, he was lunging at me, like to grab my gun. Phillips, can we agree that you were part of the problem? Hoyt, I shouldn't have been talking to people. Phillips, no, I disagree with that. I think you could have talked to people. I think if you went up to her and she's homeless, you're like, hey, sister, what's going on? I'm with the press. Can you tell me how you wound up down here? Can I hear your story? Right? Can you tell me about addiction? I don't know anything about addiction. Can you tell me about it? 'Cause I want to get the word out. At 3:52 into the interview, I asked Hoyt why he simply didn't retreat to his vehicle. Multiple times he said he was unable to retreat because he was afraid the angry people would overtake him and take his gun. Hoyt states he was afraid of the group. Eventually I ask, if you were that concerned, can I be blunt? Oh, why didn't you just shut the fuck up and stop running your suck? Hoyt, I felt like if I turned my back and ran away from them, that they would. Hoyt trails off. Phillips, that's not what I said. What did I say? What? Shut the fuck up and walk away. Hoyt, that's good advice. Hoyt, I wasn't trying to provoke anybody. Phillips, don't say that. Don't say that. 1 minute and 36 seconds in, you're calling people the bitch? Phillips, you were down there running your suck reckless a minute and a half in? Right? Looking back, can we agree that that probably wasn't the best? Hoyt, yeah, I regret everything tonight. I already told you that. I wish I could take everything back and not be a reporter or anything, and I wish everybody would be fine. Hoyt, well, no, I'm just saying just tonight. It's not a best representation of me. Hoyt, and I wasn't trying. I know it looks bad. The guy and me talking and calling the guy bitch boy. I didn't realize any of that everything would happen. Phillips, that's what we're trying to work our way around, and the ballistics will come out. but I'm going to guess the round that you put in the ground took out the gal's window is probably what happened. Hoyt. Yeah. I mean, you didn't mean to, Phillips. But could we agree that that's probably reckless? Hoyt. The shooting the thing and the bullet hitting her? Phillips. Yeah, on Division Street. Hoyt. I didn't realize it was gonna... Hoyt trails off again. Phillips. But that's the thing. If you're gonna crank off rounds, you've gotta... Hoyt. Yeah, that's reckless and stupid, shooting a gun in the ground there. We ended the interview at approximately 00:02, 5 hours. At approximately 00:48 hours, I returned and took overall photos of Hoyt. I observed and photographed a swollen and bruised lower lip. Earlier, Hoyt said the injury happened during the altercation, but he was unsure exactly when or by what instrument. On Hoyt's left side, in the area of his ribs, I observed a bruise. It appeared to be approximately 7 centimeters. Again, Hoyt thought it occurred during the altercation, but didn't know exactly when. Hoyt's should holster was seized and placed on property by Officer Mallman. In Hoyt's wallet, officers located a receipt from Pawn 1, located at 926 North 4th Street in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. The receipt was issued June 2, 2024, and had Hoyt's information. It appeared to be for the return of 3 guns that had been pawned earlier. The guns included a Remington Arms Company rifle, 7.21, serial number 1-84872, a High-Point Firearms pistol C9 HG80, serial number P1956112, and a Mossberg shotgun S00 AAT GV2, serial number G614974. Also in the wallet was a card for www.tightrope.cc with the words, "It's not illegal to be white yet." On the front of the card was a swastika. Hoyt was transported to the Spokane County Jail where he was booked for assault in the first degree.
Among the first things the detectives did was get a search warrant for Hoyt Webb's YouTube channel as well as his truck. In the inventory of his vehicle were several kinds of ammunition, multiple other firearms, including an unregistered shotgun and 2 cans of pepper spray. In the official report, it was noted that with the powders, fireworks, hobby fuse, and a few other items in the vehicle, it was possible that Hoyt was making his own homemade fireworks or explosives. Unsurprisingly, also discovered in the vehicle were pamphlets associated with racist ideology, racist jokes, memorabilia for racists and Hitler supporters, as well as other similar items. In Part 2, we will take a look at what happened after the arrest and leading up to the trial, as well as the body cam footage from the arrest itself. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you would like to see, and I will catch you on the next one.